What's up, my little cheese biscuits? Now, normally I don't do competitive battles on this channel, mainly because I'm not really that much of a competitive battler to begin with. I mean, just look at this team. It's like pretty much all weak to ice. But this time I figured I'd make an exception because, well, this battle was relatively close by the end. And this mainly just came about when James just wanted to test out an RU team. He's like, hey, get a team put together. I'm going to battle you. I'm like, okay. I'll just throw some random together. And so this is basically what you've got. Normally, whenever I run a Steelix on my team, I try to figure out what someone is going to end up bringing out on their side just to counter it. So I figured Gorgeous would work here because I was expecting a Lilligant to come out, just start quiver dancing to death and wrecking from there. But he's going to send out a Spiritomb instead, which it doesn't really matter. Because I can just go for a Will-O-Wisp right now, get that thing burnt so that way it can't really hit me with jack crap. And he's going to go for a taunt, which I'm guessing that's mainly just to keep me from setting up Leech Seed and whatnot. Sort of like what all Gorgeous do, just wall things and whatnot. Anyway, I'm just going for a Shadow Sneak just to get some prior damage. And actually, the fact that that burn missed on that turn was a pretty vital part of this battle. Because Gorgeous actually ended up kicking some butt later on. It was beautiful. But anyway, I'm just going to send in my Steelix. I mean, it doesn't make much sense because it still has some actual potential use as an attacker, but I don't really run mine as an attacker. I just run it as a physical wall, so... And I wasn't sure who would be faster here, but it turns out his had a perfect IV in speed, or his Spiritomb had a perfect IV in speed or something like that. And so Steelix is going to get taunted, can't set up the rocks, but doesn't really matter anyway because I hit him on top. Probably would have just came out and rapid spinned him away anyway, so not really missing too much here. Anyway, he's going to burn me. I'm going to go for a heavy slam just to get some damage off as more burn damage ends up occurring. But of course, that's always slowed down just due to the leftovers. Yeah, Spiritomb is just something that's really dang bulky. I mean, don't ever mess around with that. And this thing, yes! I just remember the first time James battled me with this, hit him on top, and I just saw it was named Tom Jones. I was just like, yes. Because not only is that scene in that's that scene with Carlton in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air just so dang epic, but just the way he's shuffling around, I just love it. Just everything about him on top, I swear, it's so beautiful. Anyway, he's just gonna toxic me while I go ahead and glare him down. So, at this point he sends in his Gallade. I'm not really too sure what he was expecting here, because, well, that physical defense on that Gallade is actually not even that much. So, he's obviously gonna withdraw, go into his Cresselia, which this Dragon Claw is going to do nothing to that, because Cresselia is an absolute beast. I mean, why is this thing only an RU? It's still a pretty dang good tank. But, whatever. I guess I don't understand Smogon tiers all that well. I mean, I still don't understand why Deoxys is in the Uber tier when it really is just so frail, unless it's in defense form, but whatever. Anyway, I just figured I'd send in my Steelix to wall the Moonblast, because I knew it was coming. And the only other thing I think this Cresselia could really hit the Steelix with was a Psychic, so I wasn't really too scared at this point. I just wanted to mainly do some things as Cresselia, like Toxic Stall it, and in fact I think that's what I ended up going for. So yeah, right there. I end up getting the Toxic off, which that's going to be a big help later on. Because Cresselia, over time, yes, it's a good wall, but Toxic Stalling is a pretty dang good way to get rid of that. If you don't really have too many tools available to you. So, at this point I was thinking I wasn't really going to attack or anything. I was just going to set up some stealth rocks, which I still don't know why I was even thinking that, but he gets a crit with the psychic. I can't do that. And everything's just sad now, but not like it mattered. It's like, okay, I'll just send in something else. Oh yeah, Super Dirt. This Archeops. Now, all it did in this battle was U-turn out every so often, so it didn't really get much use, but it's still pretty good. It did its job, get some damage off on Cresselia. I mean, that's always a good thing. So, this Gorgeist is going to come in, take whatever this Cresselia has to do, because, well, look at that Gorgeist eat this thing up. I mean, seriously, it's just gonna eat everything up. Now, here, I could have gone for the Shadow Sneak, but I was thinking that he would end up switching into his Cinccino just to absorb that Shadow Sneak, which I expected that, but I also wanted to make sure that he didn't overpredict that, so I just went for the Leech Seed instead. Get some recovery out of that. That's never a bad thing. So, get some more health back, and Gorgeist is still looking pretty dang good with the way it's been just taking hits every so often. So, of course, he's gonna U-turn out and go back into his Spiritomb, and he's gonna predict the fact that I'm Will-O-Wisping, which I probably should have just gone for something else at this point. Actually, honestly, I don't even know what I'm saying right now because I just but anyway, I just get the Leech Seed off just to get some more damage off on the Spiritomb, and he's gonna foul play me, get some super effective damage off, but because he's burned, and because I don't have much investment in my physical attack at all, it's not gonna do that much. So, that's always nice. Get some more health back with that Leech Seed up. And Gorgeist is still taking hits like a boss. The Spiritomb is gonna be dead pretty dang quick, so I just decided to Shadow Sneak it. Just get it out of there. So, that's his first one down. So far, it's pretty dang even, 5-5. And right now, I was confused as to why he sent out the Gallade, but I figured, you know what, he's probably just going to go back into Cinccino, so I didn't really risk attacking that. I just went straight for a Will-O-Wisp at this point, and now Cinccino is burnt and isn't going to do much at all. Which, I have seen Cinccino just be a real pain in the butt sometimes. What with Skill Link or Technician or whatever you decide to run on it, it's just a scary thing to go up against. But, of course, as you can see here, the Rock Blast isn't going to do anything at all, really, to Gorgeist due to that burn. So, that was a pretty dang good play on my part. And, of course, I'm just going to get some Leech Seed up. Just to get some more health back on my Gorgeist. So, Gorgeist, I honestly don't understand why this is pretty dang low in the tiers. It's really bulky, holy crap. And then, at this point, I'm just like, no point in staying in with Gorgeist. I'll keep that around for later on, and I'll just have this Dredagon get some more action, because all it ever really did earlier was glare at the Hitmontop, which it really didn't even matter to begin with, but yeah. So now more recovery with the Leech Seed, but it doesn't really matter because Dredagon's about to go down due to poison anyway. And I just figure, you know what, land a sucker punch on this thing because that's probably all it's got is offensive moves. So, that's Chinchino down. Which that's really good because that's a big, huge threat right there. And now the Hitmontop comes back out and Intimidate's gonna land. I just decided, you know what, I'll go for a Dragon Claw, why not? Doesn't really do much because I'm pretty sure he's invested defensively along with a lot of HP investment, so sort of like how Hitmontops normally are, they're pretty dang bulky. But that's good and all, because I at least got some Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin damage off on this. That way I can just come in with Chatot right here and just pretty much take it out. But, of course, he knows that this is Choice Scarfed, and he just goes right for the Sucker Punch just to get as much damage as he can. And... I forgot what kind of editing I did to this. But anyway, the chatter just ended up taking it out. I was going to go with it again, but I didn't want to risk the Chatot being taken down by this Cresselia, because lately Chatot has been pretty dang good. And if you know how to play it, it can just really help you out in a lot of situations. So I just go back out to Gorgeous just to take whatever this Cresselia has to do. Because, let's face it, this thing is an absolute beast of a wall. And here, I believe... Oh yeah, it was a turn before that James actually misclicked. He was meaning to go for Moonlight the previous turn, but since I was in a Skype call with him, I was just like, okay, I'll just Shadow Sneak you because I'm pretty sure it's not going to take you out, which it didn't, so we got the Moonlight off anyway. Now we're back to what he initially expected. You can tell how seriously I take these battles just because of things like that. But anyway, he's gonna withdraw the Cresselia, expecting me to do the Leech Seed, which I really should have gone for the Will-O-Wisp right here, just to get some damage on this Lilligant. And the thing that I feared right from the get-go is coming out. That Quiver Dance, oh my gosh, I was taking a look at that, I'm like, I've been swept by this thing before, so I wasn't playing any games. I just flat out Will-O-Wisp it, and later on I think I even go for Trick or Treat, just to make my Shadow Sneak super effective against it. And of course he's gonna get another Quiver Dance off. So out comes a Trick or Treat. And right here he was just confused because he doesn't really see this thing run Trick or Treat all that often, but you know what, I figured why not? It's pretty much an exclusive move to Gorgeous, so might as well make use of it in some kind of set. And I figure why not this one? But it actually does work pretty well here because Shadow Sneak actually does quite a bit for Gorgeous not being invested in the physical attack at all. And, oh my gosh, yeah, that was a resisted hit, people. And Gorgeous just did not like that. Did not like this Lilligant at all, because it's just such a beast when it has all those Quiver Dances up. But at this point, I was thinking that I got the health down low enough that I could probably take it out with another Shadow Sneak, which I do. So, there's another big threat out of the way, and now it's just Gallade and Cresselia left. And right here, I just make a really, 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 really retarded play. I didn't go for the Shadow Sneak, because I honestly don't know why I didn't go for the Shadow Sneak. I should have just done it, because it was super effective on both of what he had, and even if he out-prioritized with Shadow Sneak, I still would have had a shot of living. But anyway, at this point, he can't Shadow Sneak the Chatot, so I just decided to go with the Chatter just to finish it off. And now all that's left is Cresselia, which I still didn't want to play any games with because I just wanted to Toxic Stall this thing out to the best of my abilities. So I just ended up sacking off Pepsi Man, just to take whatever kinds of attacks this Cresselia ended up doing. Which, of course, its special defense is totally totally crappy, so it's not like it's really gonna do much to a Cresselia to begin with. But just because I could, I've decided, you know what, let's get some damage with Ice Fang off. And then he, of course, takes it out with a Moonblast, which doesn't really matter in the long run because I just mainly wanted to get some more toxic damage off at this point. Which, that of course does happen. So, I just go into my Archeops and just take out this Cresselia with one last U-turn. And so, that is good game right there. I mean, holy crap, that was a close one. Now, James was thinking that his team was crap and all that afterwards, but honestly, it was actually pretty dang good. Now, he did mention earlier that if he had his Typhlosion or his Furfuru with him, which I've seen both those in action too, then, yeah, things would have gone a bit differently. But, yeah, I'm just going to say this for any of you right now. If any of you battle him, and he's using one of those two, oh gosh, you're gonna be in for a fun time. That's all I'm going to say. So, anyway, that about wraps up this whole entire battle, and I guess I'll just see you in the next video.